Mutawassim Shabazz Beale, also known as Napoleon, was brought up by his grandmother in a Christian household. His parents had converted to Islam before his birth but were killed by people connected to the Nation of Islam when he was 3. The Nation of Islam is a U.S.-based religious and political organization whose teachings differ significantly from mainstream Islamic thought. Failing to understand the difference between the religion of Islam and the Nation of Islam, Mutta grew up hating anything connected to Islam. Despite 2 of his uncles being Muslim, he didn't know much about the faith. But, he says, the painful deaths of his parents fueled the emotional warfare in his mind when it came to faith and religion. Growing up, hearing these accusations about Islam, I didn't want anything to do with it. At the age of 15, he moved to LA where he became a member of a hip-hop group founded by rapper Tupac Shakur called the Outlaws. On the outside, the group was part of the biggest movement in rap. We appeared on 40 to 50 million record sales with Tupac, especially during his last days. But Beale says people had no idea about what went on behind the scenes. It was violent, fights going on in the studio and so on, he recalls. It was street, so the stuff I was trying to run away from found me in the music industry. Everything changed for Beale when he found religion. In 2002, he was intoxicated in a recording studio and got into a fight with his younger brother. A Muslim person in the studio stopped the fight. We spoke for a while, and we exchanged numbers. He'd call and invite me to the mosque from then on, he says. At first, he declined the invite, still mistrustful of Muslims after the death of his parents, but when he finally did, he says it changed his life. I remember I took a loaded gun with me and a group of friends. But when Beale got to the mosque in South Central Los Angeles, he says he saw a vividly different representation than he was expecting. It was different races: Arabs, white and black Americans, Pakistanis and Indians from all walks of life, and everyone was praying together, calling each other brother, which instantly struck a chord with me, he says. It contrasted with his experience growing up going to a church, which he says was very segregated by background. He became curious and got some literature on Islam to read. He instantly recognized the names of prophets mentioned in the Quran from the Bible. There were names my grandmother told me, like Prophet Abraham, Jacob. When I read about Prophet Muhammad, his companions and the last revelation, I knew this was from my Creator. I accepted the religion of Islam shortly after that. About 5 months later, Beale went on to perform Hajj. I spent 2 weeks in Saudi Arabia, and that was at the time when there was no social media, so I was able to sit back and reflect. It was an amazing experience. After coming back home, Beale didn't feel ready to jump back to his old lifestyle. He worked on a solo album without any cuss words and eventually decided to leave it altogether. In 2010, Beale moved to Saudi Arabia, where he co-founded coffee shop MW Cafe and the Smoky Beard's Texas-style restaurant in Riyadh.